Hi everyone, so welcome to the last video. In this video we're going to look at chemical formula for compounds. Okay, so we're going to look at firstly interpretation and secondly how to write chemical formula for ionic compounds. Okay, so first thing, when I mention about interpreting chemical formula, what I mean is that we're going to find out how many atoms and how many types of elements are there in a compound. So we're going to look at two examples now. The first one is simple, NO2, nitrogen dioxide. So to find out the number of different types of elements in a compound or in a substance, we'll look at the number of capital letters. Okay? So since we see two capital letters, there's a capital N and a capital O, so it tells us that there are two different elements. Next, to find out the number of atoms in this substance, okay, we're going to look at the number after each atom. Okay, so since there's a 2 subscript that comes after the O, it tells us that this substance has 2 oxygen atoms. If there are no numbers after the element, it means that there's only one atom. So there's 1 nitrogen, 2 oxygen, total number would be 3 atoms. Okay, next example is more complicated. It involves brackets. Okay, so first, the number of elements in this substance is again 3. You see a capital F for the Fe, capital O, capital H. So there are 3 different elements. Okay, so the brackets work a bit like expansion in math. Okay, so there's 1 iron atom. So the 3 is going to apply to both the O and the H. So there are 3 oxygens and 3 hydrogens, which means that total number of atoms, 1 plus 3 plus 3, 7. Okay, so can you take 3 minutes to complete exercise 1 on page 87? Okay, so pause the video now. Okay, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this exercise because I'm pretty sure that you all can do simple math. So I'm just going to give the answers. The only thing that I want you to take note, okay, so for NH4NO3, there are actually 2 N's. The NH4 itself is 1 cation, the NO3 is 1 anion, but again, we don't double count the elements because they are ultimately still the same element, which is nitrogen. Okay, so the same is going to apply for CH3CO2H and CH32CO. Okay, so remember the 3 outside, Al2SO4 is going to apply to both the sulfur and the oxygen. So in fact, there will be 3 sulfurs and 12 oxygens in total in 1 unit of Al2SO4. Okay, next, I'm going to spend a lot more time here, which is to write formula for ionic compounds. This one is highly requested when we did ionic dot and cross. So I kept saying that we're going to do this in the future. So this is the video. Okay, even for those who went through this in class, I know I went very quickly because I need to complete the syllabus for WA2. So if you need to, you can pause and try and write and try to revise what we went through in class. Okay, so first we're going to start with a simple example called magnesium chloride. So this compound obviously has 2 ions. Okay, so step 1, you're going to write down what are the ions in the compound. Okay, this one will come from your knowledge of the elements in groups 1 to 13 and 15 to 17. But a simpler way, which is more painful at the beginning, would just be to memorize the ion list. Okay, so magnesium ion, Mg2+, chloride ion, Cl-. Okay, and then you see 4 boxes here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, on the 2 boxes on top, you're going to write the 2 ions. So Mg2+ on top, Cl- also on top but on the right side. Then on the 2 boxes in the bottom, you're going to write the same ions but without the charges. Okay, so instead of Mg2+ in this box, you're going to write Mg. This box, instead of Cl-, you're just going to write Cl. Okay, why do I do this? Because many students, when they write ionic chemical formulas, especially at the beginning, they make the mistake of putting in charges. but a compound itself is electrically neutral. There should not be any charges present in your compound. Okay, so after you have done this, the next thing, okay, you're going to bring the number on the charge of one ion down to the other. So what do I mean? Okay, so you see this number 2 in Mg2 plus, you are going to bring it down to Cl. So Cl2. Then over here the Cl minus has no number to bring down, so we don't touch it at all, which means the chemical formula for magnesium chloride is going to be MgCl2. If there is a number here for the anion, for example, it's an O2 minus, then you're also going to have to bring down the number. We'll see an example like this later. Okay, second example, copper 2 oxide. Okay, so again, you start with the formula of the ions in the compound. Copper 2 ion, Cu2 plus, O2 minus, oxide is O2 minus. Okay, so just a note here, copper 2 just means that it is a copper ion with a charge of 2 plus. So ion 2 would be Fe2 plus, ion 3 would be Fe3 plus, lead 2 is going to be Pb2 plus. So it's very easy, it's very systematic. Okay, so you're going to do the same. The two ions are written in these two boxes. So Cu2 plus in this box, O2 minus in this box. Now, you're going to notice that Cu2 plus and O2 minus, the charge, the numbers are the same. Okay, so since the ions have the same number in their charge, we'll just write down both ions side by side, which means the chemical formula of copper 2 oxide, CuO. Okay, now I want you to try example 3 after pausing the video, okay, following the steps. Okay, if you need to know the formula of the ions, you can go to the back page of your orange book. Okay, so this example is aluminium sulfide. The ion list contains the formula of both ions. So please pause the video now for 3 minutes and try to follow the steps and write the chemical formula. Okay, I am assuming that you have paused and tried to write this formula. So aluminium sulfide, okay? Aluminium ion, Al3 plus, sulfide ion, S2 minus. The two ions go on top, and on the bottom, you write the ions without their charge, okay? So the 3 plus from Al3 plus is brought down to the S, so S3. Okay, the 2 minus from S2 minus, the 2 from S2 minus is brought down to Al. So the chemical formula, Al2S3. So this is what I mean by the numbers are brought down and there is a crossover. So if you read other notes or other sources, some of them are going to call this the cross method. Okay, so number from cation bring down to anion, number from anion bring down to cation. Okay, so this one requires practice. Okay, you cannot expect reasonably to just write one or two formulas and expect to sink in. Okay, the more you write, the faster and more instinctive it becomes, and eventually, if you are good enough, you can figure out the chemical formula in your head. Okay, and this is going to be important when we talk, for example, about certain topics that require a lot of equations in the future. Okay, and it goes without saying, you must be able to memorize the ion list eventually. Okay, and since we are here, might as well, I'm going to introduce the 3 common acids to you. You have actually learned this in set 2, but you didn't learn the chemical formula. Okay, so you're going to notice that all the acids contain hydrogen. Hydrochloric acid, HCl, nitric acid, HNO3, sulfuric acid, H2SO4. Okay, so next we're going to talk about exercise 2. This one should be quite easy. Can you pause the video now and take about 5 minutes to write all the formulas before I go through the answers? Okay, so please pause the video now. Okay, I'm going to assume that you have tried this out. Okay, all of these are actually very simple. The more simple if you have the ion list to refer to. So the difficult part for students is that they don't memorize, right? So then when they go to exams or tests, they anyhow a wrong formula, and then their chemical formulas are all screwed up. Okay, so potassium oxide K2O, magnesium nitrite Mg3N2, calcium fluoride CaF2, aluminium oxide Al2O3, lithium chloride LiCl, copper 2 chloride CuCl2, lead 2 nitrite Pb3N2, iron 2 oxide FeO, zinc sulfide ZnS. Okay, so with that, my 3 videos will come to an end. I'm going to stop here because this is where the WA2 will test until. So if you didn't notice, we're going to miss lessons in week 6, 7, 8 Mondays. So please start studying early, firstly, and if you need help, please ask for help. I cannot possibly go around to everyone to see what they need help with, okay? So I need some self-directness on your part. Okay, so with that, I'm going to end the video. Bye-bye.